Well, hello, everyone. Good evening and happy Sunday. I hope everyone had a blessed Sunday. Listen, this is Phoebe's Place. Thank y'all for joining. I always got to say that for my supporters. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for joining in. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. So, tonight, I know we normally on Monday, but we had a special change. So we're showing tonight, and then I will repeat it on tomorrow at 7. But we have a special guest. We are still dealing with grief, but this is the ending for the month of us talking about grief and sharing our story. But we have an amazing woman. I call her Lady LaShawn Cleveland. Y'all help me welcome her. Yes. She
Hey,
is, for
Phoebe.
those that don't know, she is James Cleveland's daughter. And I wanted to hear her perspective because her dad is an icon. And her grieving process was totally different than some of us that didn't have an icon or parents. So I wanted her to share her testimony, share her story, and share where it's leading her now. So, LaShawn, welcome,
Hey,
welcome, welcome.
Phoebe. Hey,
Hey,
how
Sophia,
are
thank
you?
you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Oh,
I'm
you're
so
welcome.
glad to be here.
Tell us, LaShawn, tell us kind of like how the beginning. I know you sung with the Kurt Carr singers, and you had that life. But what was it like being your dad's daughter?
I used to get this question all the time when I was younger, and I never knew how to answer it because it was like nothing different for me. It was like, holidays, he was there. I got gifts. So, Father's Day we celebrated, Mother's Day we celebrated. So it was like holiday times, he was around, he was there. I didn't grow up in the house with my dad, but he was definitely in my life and a part of my life. So I really didn't notice a difference from anybody else that had parents, growing up. But
Mhm.
after I lost my dad, it was a lot different. And I guess I kind of noticed his relevance in the world and to a lot of people.
Mhm.
And after he died, it was a lot more difficult for me because it's almost like it has never ended. It's like my grieving period has never stopped. Um, like we were talking earlier, I'm single, I don't have any kids. So it's like holiday times, those days that I would look forward to being with my parents, which I've lost my mother and my father. So, holiday times, those days that you're used to being with your parents, I don't have that. So, a lot of those days I spend by myself or make it out to be whatever. So it's difficult in that aspect. Um, but I've learned to get along. I know that there's healing in death. So I don't think it's a selfishness that I have, but I have moments where I kind of get angry, and I guess that's maybe because I miss them
Mhm.
not being here, but I know they're in a better place and I know I'll see them again.
Okay.
So I think I deal with it that way. That
Okay.
aspect, it makes it better for me.
How long has it been since
My
repairing?
dad, my dad died in February the 9th, 1991, and my mom passed September 27th, 2007.
Wow.
So it's been a while. It's been a while for both of them, but it's like time goes by so fast.
Mm.
You don't really notice how fast the years go by because it seems like just yesterday,
Right.
you know.
I want to ask because okay, so I was there at your dad's funeral. It was very overwhelming. There was so many people there. How old were you at that time?
24.
How did you feel? Because I can't even imagine what you were dealing with. So many people was there. So you know what I'm saying? What place were you at in your 20s when you were there?
Well, because I grew up in the church. I grew up in my dad's church, so I was a church girl. So my dad had conventions, so I sang in his choirs. I sang in the church choir. I sang in the you know um,
Hmm.
in his community choir. So a lot of the people that were at the funeral were a lot of people in the gospel industry or people that were involved with his convention and the church and stuff. So it was almost like family.
Oh, okay.
It felt like family, but it was a little overwhelming with the amount of people. But at the same time, I was used to a lot of people being around him. Because,
Mm,
like I said, he had his convention, and it was like that the mass choir alone would be like 1,000 people.
exactly. Wow.
So I was used to mass numbers of people being around him.
Wow. Okay.
I I don't think it has really ever set in. It's like
Wow.
I still kind of maybe go through things, moments where it's like maybe I don't really know how big my father was,
Mm.
but you know, like I said, he was just another parent to me.
Yeah, he was your father. He wasn't the.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
right.
get.
He was daddy.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And in that growing up, what challenges do you still have by him being who he was, and you still maintaining you? Because everybody want to be everybody trying to um, take credit for everything. I'm sure people are overlooking you. I'm sure people do not give you the respect that is desired and should have. Hmm. Hmm.
Well, I have never really been a person to be like, I need to be out in the limelight and all of that. I've lived a very normal, humble life. I'm very grateful for everything that I have. But um, when it comes to that situation, I just kind of step back and just let people be people
Hmm.
so that I could have my peace of mind.
Hmm.
And like you hear a lot of people say, make sure your business is together.
Okay.
My father probably didn't make all of the best decisions that he could have made as far as his career
Okay.
choices and things that he did.
Okay.
And basically, because of those things, I'm dealing with some situations and issues and people right now.
Mm.
I have always stood in the place of I know who I am, I
Okay.
know whose I am.
Mm-hmm.
If there's anything that's not correct or that shouldn't be, it
Mm-hmm.
will be revealed. But I'm gonna stand in who I am and knowing what I know.
Mm.
and just let the pieces fall where they may. And that's
Yes.
where we are now. It's like since my father has died, I have found out that a lot of people that said they were his friends, they were not. They didn't have his best interest at hand. And
Okay.
those were people that were very close to him.
And how do you, now I know inwardly you're a strong person, and you're right. You have never been that person that, um, I am his daughter, fight for who you are. You've never been like that. But people need to understand who you still, you're human. You still, your feelings still matter. No matter what's being done or said, you still matter. And I think people forget that you're still here. And we don't have a right to say what we say and just throw things out and not respect who you are. Because within you, you have gifts, definitely have gifts. How did you transition from, because I know you was in the Kirk Cars, how did you transition out of that and then moving into where you are now, the place of where you are?
Okay. Uh, After I can't even tell you years because it's been so long. But after I stopped singing with Kurt, I I started traveling with Michael Matthews. I did a play with Michael Matthews. So I um I did that for a year.
Mm-hmm.
After that year, I started working for the state of California. Um, and I started as like a clerk, but I worked in the Social Security Disability Department.
Mm-hmm.
And I just basically stayed in that department and I went in as a clerk and then I became a disability evaluator.
Okay.
And I did that for 26 years. And I retired from the state of California in 2018, December 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved here to Vegas. I was in San Diego prior to that, but I moved here to Vegas. And then I started doing the same thing here in Vegas. I became a
Okay.
disability evaluator here. I
Okay.
did that for another year. And now I am still retired. I get my retirement pension and I am working at Amazon as a problem solver. Problem solver.
So
So
so you basically removed yourself from that whole singing and choir scenario. You removed yourself because you
yes.
more than likely needed a breather. I just, and what's odd to me, because I'm an only child, so to hear you say, because there were so many masses of people, they're like family, that amazes me that you were okay. And that just amazes me that you say that, because I'm sitting over here feeling feeling like an empty box. But you, on the other hand, you embraced everyone.
I did. I embraced everyone initially in the beginning, but
Hmm.
then everything got really ugly. And I
Okay,
think that's probably why I removed myself
got it.
because, you had the churches, well, not the churches, but
Yeah.
the churches, but my dad had a church. He pastored a church and basically the church is split. So we had an 8 o'clock service, we had an 11 o'clock service, then we had okay, well the church is getting sold. So then it became a fight. Well, who's going to take the money? Who's going to be cornerstone? And
Hmm.
it just became a big old mess. So they were in court for that. Then they wound up working out the difference with the money between that. Then there was another attack with the trust,
Hmm.
which came from a godbrother, which in
Wow.
that attack, it became an identity thing, which
Okay.
that portion I had to validate who I was as a child because he was trying to say he was my father's child.
Wow.
So that was another fight.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, after all of the fighting and everything took part, um, the person who was my father's manager is basically over his trust. And the trust happens to be a trust that my father didn't sign.
Wow.
So the trust that is in action right now is basically being administered by the manager, the person that was managing my dad, who is also the person that signed the trust.
So now you're going over it again with
Yeah, it's
his
never
laws.
stopped. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically never stopped because of the fact that we still have this trust in play and this administrator in play, and basically there's misappropriation of funds that's taking place, and there's foundations that's been set up, but you got paperwork that's suspended with the
Wow.
state of California. So
Hmm.
it's continuous. So that's why I removed myself.
And I understand. And that people don't understand. People want to be in the limelight. They want to do all that, but it's a price to pay. It's a whether it
Absolutely.
be your family or it is a price that the family have to pay that's still here. I wanted to talk to you about this because you're a church choir. You love church choir. I heard you talk about this. I think it was last year, and you were like, choirs are just church choirs are just or just choirs are not how it used to be. Give us some insight on that.
Okay, so my dad founded the Gospel Music Workshop of America,
Mm-hmm.
and basically he's known as king of gospel music.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly there has been a shift in gospel music. And you hear people saying, okay, what happened to the choir music? We want choir music. And even myself, I miss it. I say the gospel that's out today is that watered down music.
Okay.
So when my dad did the convention, basically a lot of people that are known gospel artists now came up in GMWA.
Okay.
So, like I was saying, with the trust and a lot of stuff going on, GMWA was a part of the trust.
Okay.
But due to the differences with the administration and the leadership with GMWA,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't want to be a part of the trust. So GMWA was pulled out of the trust. So now GMWA is basically being run by the board, the chairman of the board of directors.
Okay.
And there's been a great decline in the membership in the
Mhm.
organization, and all of that. And I just feel like with a organization that was as big as GMWA was,
Mm-hmm.
there is no reason that gospel music should be at the place that it's at now,
Okay. Okay.
when you had majority of your artists that came up through GMWA. So what I have done is I have established the James Cleveland Gospel Music Experience.
Okay.
And basically, what it is a take on GMWA, the Cleveland way. And
Mm-hmm.
I am um, just basically revisiting what my father originally established. But because I am not as musically inclined as my dad was, I don't write, I don't sing anymore, I don't play any instruments, but I have made relationships with a lot of people that are in the industry.
Okay.
So it is my vision to go and bring those people that were a part of GMWA, to bring them into the experience, to basically educate the people
Okay.
that are coming up now to what gospel music is and should be.
Okay. And when is this? When is the event?
My event will take place. It's going to kick off December the 5th, which is my dad's birthday. It's
Oh,
going to be December the 5th through the 8th. That's
okay.
a Tuesday through a Friday. And it's basically we just want to have a lot of just gospel artists, choirs, people come together and open that platform for performances for them to network. If they have like new music CDs, I know there are a lot of independent artists that are out, and basically, people seem to be stuck to whatever area they're in when they're an independent artist, because these major labels aren't picking them up. They're not promoting them. They're not backing them. So whatever you're doing and you're putting out there is basically being heard in your city, your area.
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore, if you have a platform like GMWA and JCGME, it's a moving platform. So you can bring your choir, your group, whatever, to these cities that you're not used to performing in or people have never heard you in, and you
Mm-hmm.
perform there and you leave your name there. And then that's how you kind of,
Get that going. And
yeah.
where's it gonna be at?
It's going to be in Orlando, Florida.
Ooh, nice.
Orlando, Florida. I picked Florida because it's warm. And it's a lot of stuff that's going on in summer because, like GMWA, all of the conventions and the music and the full gospels, all that stuff usually happens in the
Mm-hmm.
summertime. So I decided I would pick my dad's birthday, December, as a
Uh-huh.
kickoff date, and just started there. And Florida is still pretty warm during the beginning of December, so that's kind of why I chose where it's going to be. But we'll be moving around just like
Okay.
GMWA did.
Okay.
But
And
the
when is registration? And
registration will be opening this weekend, this coming weekend, Saturday.
okay.
And people will be able to register through the website, which is jcgme.org.
Okay.
And then, like, all the information and everything about what we're doing, what we're about. We have like volunteer forums for people that want to participate on there. All the information will be on the website.
So you have changed your grief and what you've experienced and still going through. You've changed it to build a platform for what you know was the heart of what your dad was doing.
Absolutely.
So you're
That's it.
carrying that out.
Yeah. I mean, basically, I try to look at it as I've let everybody do what they wanted to do for all of
Mm,
these years. And
okay.
now it's pretty much my time to take my legacy back.
Come on. Say that again. Say that again.
I think I gave them enough time. I
Mhm.
haven't bothered anybody. I haven't interrupted anything that anybody has done. All I've done is gathered my receipts so that when I do come, I know that what I'm saying is factual. I'm not accusing nobody of anything malicious or
Mm.
anything ill. Anything that has been done, I can prove that you've done it.
And I'm going to clap on that. I'm going to clap because listen, it's your time. It's your time. So, those of you, the choirs, like she said, the choirs, groups, um, the independent artists, register here. And you said it starts Saturday, right? The registration?
Yes, yes, Saturday.
Register there on Saturday. And that way you can have your music on a different platform and in honor and respect of James Cleveland, and give her the respect. Respect
Oh,
her.
I'm sorry. And
Go ahead.
also, the closing night, we're doing a live recording.
What-
So basically, that is pretty much the focus on trying to bring the choir music back. It's
Okay.
like we keep hearing what happened to it, what happened to it. Okay, it's there. I think we just need to find a place where somebody is willing to invest and for it to be heard and for people to go to get the top to
So
get
the,
the music.
so the last night is recorded. So you guys are going to choose who's going to record, or are you just going to?
We're gonna compile a mass choir.
Mm,
So basically, the mass choir will be participants from different people that are coming to perform. So during the day, they'll be in rehearsals for the recording that night. So what we need is a couple songs. I have some music. We're basically gonna readdress some songs that were done through GMWA because
okay.
that was the thing with GMWA. They always did like a live recording at the end of the week. And basically what it was songwriters would come in, they would present their songs, and then at the end of the week, those songs would get recorded with the mass choir. So it's the same
Mm,
vision. That's the same thing I'm doing. And I've spoken with a very dear friend of mine, B Slade,
mm,
and he has said that he would be willing to help me with the music because he is like really a genius as
yes, he
far
is.
as when it comes to music production.
Yes, he is.
So he's gonna work with me on that. So
Good. Good. Congratulations.
thank
Congratulations to
you.
you. Y'all go support Saturday. Register. And I know she got some pop up guests that she's not really mentioning right now. Go there and be heard. Quick question. So the ones that submitting music, they have to be there though in order to do that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
What they can do, they can reach out through the website if they want to submit a song. Then
Okay.
they can reach out through the website, and then we'll get in contact with them and let them know, all about that. We need to get the song on like MP3 so that we can hear the music. And then we'll get in contact with them to let them know if it's a song that we would want to choose to do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I told you time goes by so fast.
Oh, wow.
It goes by so fast. Thank you for picking up. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for not just saying, I'm not going to do this ever again.
Mm.
Because anyone that know him better would be you.
And you know what, Phoebe? He worked too hard when he was alive. He
Mm,
worked too hard. And it wasn't just for him, but it was for a lot of other individuals. That's one thing. My dad was not a selfish man. And a lot of things he did more for others than he did for himself, in my own humble opinion.
okay. Okay.
So I just think in honor of his memory and
Mm,
what he was in gospel, I'm just trying to pick up the reins and make it a happy place again.
exactly. No, I get you. I totally get you. And um, you're bringing gospel back. That's why I want you to talk about that because I understood you're bringing the heart of gospel music back. I love everything else. I do. I love everything else, but it's good for had to have a variety. And for
Exactly.
those who are not as young, they can't get with the new music, but they can get with that heart, that gospel
Right.
music.
We can't lose the focus of
Yeah,
what it is
I get
and
it.
what it's supposed to do.
I get it. I totally get it. Well, y'all, that's it. I'm so sorry. But listen again, Saturday, register so you can get to this event. in December and you can go to Florida. Listen. So register, you guys. LaShawn, thank you.
Thank you, Phoebe.
You
Thank
are
you.
welcome. Thank you for your authenticness, for being very true to who you are. I've always known you as that, but didn't know the depth of it. And I get it. I get it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
So we're gonna have to come back in close to in the summertime. You're welcome, Sophia. Summertime, so we can see what's going on and see who's registered and just promote it again. But y'all support LaShawn Cleveland. She
thank
deserves it, and we can bless her and show her how much we love her. Okay? Thank you, love.
Love you.
You stay on, and I'm going to end the broadcast, but you stay there real quick.
Okay.
Y'all have a blessed evening. I'm going to rerun this tomorrow. Also on Thursday, ICBS will be running it through the radio station as well. So you'll get to hear this interview on the radio station. All right. Y'all have a blessed evening and love on one another. God loves you, and I do too.